And finally, the Indiana Pacers, who were the darlings of, I would say, July. Like June and July, it was like, who's really under? And I was like, what is everyone talking about? Their number is 23 and a half, and it's juiced to the under at most of the books. If you want to play an under, make sure you shot for the minus 110, but it's going to be kind of hard. Brandon, what do you have for Tyrese Halliburton and the Indiana Pacers?
Yeah, this is a tough one because I think the intention question is hard to know the answer of here. I have Indiana 25th on offense, 29th on defense, 20 to 28 wins. So this is squarely a pass for me. I don't need anything to do with this team because I don't know the intentions of where they're at. I was one of those people in July. I think on this podcast, I was like, I kind of like this team. There's some dudes here. When I dug into it, the thing that really surprised me is there aren't dudes on defense. There are Miles Turner, that's it. And he's going to get hurt or traded sometime in the season. And then they could be disastrously bad on defense after that. And when your defense is that bad, that near the bottom of the league, there's just not a lot of hope for you.
So like I put Hield in the starting unit. It may be Mathurin. And Mathurin's an X factor here that could get the over. But like a starting unit of Hallie, Hield, Duarte, Brissett, Shea Brissett is actually really good and impactful. Like he's a pretty good player. And Miles Turner. The problem with all these guys is I like all these guys individually, but when you stack this unit up against other starting units and you ask who's going to outscore who in their first 6 minutes, last 6 minutes, you're just like, oh, the Pacers are going to get killed. And if the starters are that level and then the bench, this is not a team where the bench is loaded with a bunch of really good dudes either. So you just wind up in a whole lot of this. Again, I don't want to bet it. To me, this is the Spurs light. And the reason is it's a bad team with a number that says that they're going to be really bad and they're going to tank, but it's still a really low number.
Yeah.
If they win 23 games, can they get the number 1 pick or the number 2 pick in the lottery? Yeah. Like that's possible, right? Like a big question for me is if you could tell me right now that one team in the NBA would finish with under 20 wins, it would help a lot of my projections. Like just knowing one team would be under 20 would be like, okay, this is going to determine how aggressively the other teams are going to have to tank. But when I start to get in that conversation, I'm like, do I want to bet this? I don't. So Pacers are a stay away from me.
That couple of things too. A lot of people listening are going to be like, but I really like Tyrese Halliburton. I love Tyrese Halliburton. You like Tyrese Halliburton. We all like him. He is a complimentary player. He is not a superstar. And there is not guys to complement on this roster. He's going to be better in future versions. He's a good, important part of the team. He's not going to significantly raise the ceiling of this roster. That's just not what his type of player is. And a guy like Benedict Mathurin or other young guys, Aaron Nesmith, Isaiah Jackson, Jalen Smith, like they need to develop those guys. They need to see if those guys can play. You said Mathurin, it could be the X factor in the offense. Shooting guards as rookies are not those are negative X factors. That brings your offense down. And that's the thing too, is by the end of the season, those dudes are going to have to play and they're going to be like, hey, Benedict, go run the offense for a while. Let's see what you got. And they're going to lose when that happens. Not because he's bad, but because he's going to be bad right now as like a 20-year-old in the NBA. So it's I don't know. We didn't mention Rick Carlisle. He's still like the thing, right? That's still, I had to look it up and be like, what? Rick Carlisle is the coach of the team of young dudes. So
yeah, he's hanging out with Miles Turner and
is there a first coach fired bet in the NBA? Because that I don't understand how that's going to go well. There is an under 25.5 at points bet at minus 167.
Yeah.
Does that interest you at all?
No, I don't want to pay. I don't want to pay an extra 57 points of juice.
Yeah. We don't want our money on the Pacers. Nope. We'll watch them. They seem watchable. I'll watch the Pacers.
Give me. I like Isaiah Jackson. I like Brissett. I like Hallie. The Hallie conversation is best summed up this way: the Kings being stupid does not mean the Pacers are good.